In common with many Mediterranean Greek houses, we have high ceilings. We have high ceilings because, of course, these houses are built primarily to deal with the high temperatures of summer because, of course, in England, it's a more temperate climate and it's cooler. Here, we're trying to get rid of heat in the summer. Winters are still cold. At the moment, it's about 9 degrees C outside. Last year, and I can't remember exactly when, it was January, February, we had ice on the swimming pool, and we had our freshwater pipe, cold water pipe, also froze. So I know the UK at the moment is minus temperatures a little bit, and we're still +9 or so, but it does get cold. So how do we heat a villa in Corfu? There are numerous methods ranging from the ancient to the very modern, and we have 3 systems we can use in this house. So the first system is a conventional central heating system. Now we've got a Nest thermostat and we've got one downstairs as well, so it's been modified a bit to make it modern, but behind it all essentially is just an old-fashioned central heating system. There is a huge radiator, very much like the one you find in your house in England. This one's got 2 panels, which is very common in the UK. The one in here is a bit different. This one's actually a triple rad, so you've actually got 3. There's 3 panels in there with fins, which does make it a bit more efficient. This room is a big volume, got a lot of area, a lot of volume to heat. So that is option number 1. We're heating oil fueled here. We don't have mains gas, so diesel oil effectively. We'll look at that in some more detail. Option 2, much more modern option actually, is this. Beep. There, nice little screen. It is a reverse cycle aircon unit. This one is less than a year old. It's a brand new system, 18,000 BTU, so it's quite powerful, but again, it's a big room. And it's A plus 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 plus, well, I don't know, whatever rated for the efficiency. There are advantages and disadvantages to the aircon. Now, this is, they call it a mini split system. It's localised to this room, and we'll talk a bit more about mini splits and ducted systems. So-called heat pumps, which are quite common now. Third option, and fantastic for this time of year, involves trees, but not that sort of tree. Oh, no. Those sort of trees, and what you do is you chop them down and you set fire to them, and you get this, and this is lovely. Who doesn't love an open fire, especially around Christmas time? And again, this one, it's a little bit different from a traditional one, because I've got a little added extra in the corner here. I've got a button, and I'll press that, and it blows warm air out of here and here and around the corner here. So it takes the conventional old-fashioned fire. It's even got like a big glass sliding door. It's all very posh, this one. And it improves the output and it blows it around the room. So what we'll do now, we will look at what's behind each of these systems, because of course the radiator and the indoor air handling unit are only half of the story with those systems, and there's a bit more to this as well. So the first system I want to talk more about is the quite conventional central heating system. So there is the Nest thermostat. This is downstairs. That's a modern enhancement that I've made that bolts onto the existing system, which we'll go and look at in a moment. Something of note, note this, look at this. We've got expansive stone floors and a naughty pussycat. What are you doing, naughty pussycat? What are you doing, naughty pussycat? You trying to get out of the window? You were. So we've got these lovely stone floors. Let's see if the cat's going to come with us. He might do. And a conventional system with radiators. Look, there's a radiator, and there's a radiator there with some socks on top of it. No expense spared in the preparation of these videos, honestly. The boiler is housed in a boiler house because it's quite big, physically big, and it's a very conventional system. It's not a combi boiler, it's not a condensing boiler, it's an old-fashioned hot water boiler. The unit itself is reasonably new, but it's the way, it's the system they use out here. So here is this big old machine, and I mean it's physically huge. There she is. And we've got in the corner, I don't know, we've got return valves are just here, we've got supply valves here, we've got 3 pumps, water upstairs and downstairs, and some more valves, and a control box, and a giant water tank that's nearly as tall as I am. A lot of that, which the villa was built as to be used as a rental villa in the summer, so we've got 3 bathrooms, 3 showers, and it was expected that 12 people would stay in here, so you're expecting a lot of baths and showers. Of course, we're a family of 4 and we don't need that much water, so this is huge. It's good because there's lots of water available, but it's bad because every time you want to do the washing up, you've got to heat all that. Not so great. So one of the unintended consequences, I guess, of this system is it's monumentally expensive to run. Diesel now is €1.40 per litre, and we have a 1,000 litre fuel tank for that thing. It was 160 a few weeks ago. When this villa was built 15 years ago, diesel was 60 cents a litre. So, you know, it made sense back then. Now it's expensive, but it does have its advantages. It's as I say, it's a central heating system. It's whole home heat. And it's a very nice, even, dry heat. You know how central heating works. You've probably got it yourself. Now, here's another unintended consequence, but this is a good one. Here is a distribution manifold for the downstairs radiators. 7 in and 7 out, if you like. 14 valves. 7 rads downstairs. I guess I haven't counted them, actually. Those pipes run under the floor. And you know, just now I said our floors are tiled. What happens when you run hot water pipes under a tiled floor? You get underfloor heating without trying, which is great. We haven't paid for underfloor heating. It just exists because of the way the system's installed. So central heating is brilliantly effective. You're all familiar with it. And massively expensive. Let's look at System 2. Here is part of System 2. There's 2 of them. And there's another 2 of them right there. We have 7 in total, so we've got 4 here, 2 on the front of the house, and 1 in my workshop, because of course keeping my workshop warm is of paramount importance. And yes, they are aircon units, but they are reverse cycle aircon units, and they're also called, very poshly, heat pumps. And there's quite a thing about heat pumps at the moment, isn't there? This idea, especially in the UK, of switching from fossil fuel powered stuff to heat pumps. Where do you think the electricity comes from to run these things? Yeah, some of it's wind power, some of it isn't. Whatever. So the advantages of a heat pump system. There's 4 here, which service 4 rooms. And there's 2 more at the front. So this is a localised heat. So instead of heating the entire house, you heat the room that has the air handler in it, the indoor unit in it only. And that works quite well for the way that we heat our home. We use predominantly wood. Talk about that in a bit. But once a week, Sam has a Greek lesson in the spare room. I'm not going to put on the central heating upstairs and heat the entire upstairs so that she can have a warm room. I'm sorry, I'm just not that nice. But this unit here, if you follow the ductwork up, goes to the spare bedroom upstairs, so she can have localised heat. And they work really effectively. They heat as well as they cool. They're little less efficient heating-wise, but they are still incredibly effective. Now, this unit here is one of the original ones when the villa was built. It was all retrofitted. It wasn't built with any aircon, but within a couple of years it was fitted. So this unit's probably 15 years old, give or take. This unit is the one from the living room that we saw earlier and is less than a year old. This unit is 9,000 BTU. This unit is 18,000 BTU. So this new Tesla one is twice as powerful as the old Gree one. And it uses exactly the same amount of power. So the efficiency of these devices has improved massively over the last 10 years. Unfortunately, the Russians decided to invade Ukraine, and the power companies have decided to make a huge profit off the back of that. Nice one. So electricity is now, of course, massively expensive as well. So, although, I mean, it's twice as efficient. It literally uses 8 amps, full load draw, 8 amps, it's nothing. but it's still expensive now, isn't it? Oh man, why did you do that? Anyway, so these ones are what we call a mini splits because we have, the system is split. We have an outdoor unit and an indoor unit, and we have one per room. So we've got lots of kit, and this is mainly because it was retrofitted. If you are having a new build, or if you want to really spend some money and go for a centralised heat pump, a distributed heat pump, or a ducted air heat pump, the technology is the same in terms of the insides of this are replicated on a bigger scale, and the insides of the indoor air handling unit are replicated on a bigger scale. But instead of having 7 units, 4 here, 2 there, 1 at the workshop, you have 1. So it is more efficient because it's a scale of efficiency. You've just got one big machine doing all that work. So, heat pumps are great. They work very well. They've been sold on being more efficient and cheaper than diesel or gas. The problem with at the moment is the prices of all fuel supplies, energy, are so volatile. You just can't make a comparison. So I know how much my diesel costs per litre because I just bought some. I don't know how much my electricity costs per unit at the moment, so I don't know how much it costs to run these reverse cycle aircon heat pumps, and I don't know which is cheaper. But I do know which is the cheapest. And on then to option number 3, which is fantastic in very many respects, but also has its disadvantages. So the fire. Look at it. Look at the flames dancing and the orange embers and the bit of wood on there. I'm a bit of a pyromaniac and I do like fire. The fire is not only is it a source of heat, but it's a tactile, kind of immersive experience. It has a great smell. It has a sound of crackling. It looks wonderful, and it's actually very effective to a certain extent. Let me just close the glass because otherwise you run the risk of children getting themselves burned. Right, in here, right now, we have a temperature of 20.5 degrees C. That's the top number in orange, the bottom number in the sort of whitey colour. 9.3 degrees is the outdoor temperature. So there's, it's a decent temperature there, 20.5 degrees C. And that's with just that one log burning. We can chuck a load of logs on there, we can get up to 23, 24 degrees C. But if we're to go this way, out here, and have a look at our wonderful modern Nest thermostat, 16, well, heat set to 14, but it is currently, because I'm a miser, we can turn it up if we need it, 16 degrees C. There's a difference of 4 degrees C between one end and the other. This is the living room, it's the room we live in. I sit on the sofa and I look at Albania, and I look at the fire, and I look at the telly and the Christmas tree. So 20 degrees is fine. So, slight downside, but there's a really, really good upside, apart from the tactile fact that I just like fire. Come on, I'll show you what the upside is. So what is the real advantage of a wood-fuelled fire? Here is some wood that I use to fuel my fire and heat our home, or our living room, certainly. The real advantage is there's about 1.5 tons of wood there, which I paid for that. That would have been about 150 euros. It was about 100 euros per tonne. Let me show you the real advantage. We have a lot of olive trees on our land which need to be maintained. They need to be pruned and cut back for their own health and also to encourage olive production for the olive oil harvest. Now, a side effect, a byproduct of cutting trees is you get wood. So here's some that I cut last year. It needs obviously to be chopped into log-sized pieces. I'm not going to be putting that on the fire, although it is quite a chunk. So that's been seasoned for a year. And that was free. There's half a tree stump. There's a whole tree stump. And if I can get down here whilst holding a camera and not falling down and breaking parts of my body, there's a whole tree there. Near enough. And some wood down there. Now, obviously, there's a lot of effort involved in getting that tree stump back up there into a way that we can use it. And once we get it back up, then it needs to be cut with the aid of a chainsaw. So I even have a bit of string. Look, I hold on to this bit of string to climb up and down. It's not really a chore though, is it? Who doesn't enjoy using a chainsaw? Great fun. Tremendously dangerous, but great fun. So there will be another video where I'm actually going to show you maintaining the trees. We're going to cut some trees and we will cut these logs to size with one of the chainsaws, because I got two. Can't have too many toys, can you? Big one and a little one. But that is the massive advantage for us. It's free fuel. And the lovely thing about trees, they grow back, especially olive trees. They grow incredibly quickly. Case in point, so these trees here were a bare stump last year. I cut them back to bare stumps. Look at all that. That's 1 year's growth. 1 year's growth. So the best way to heat your home is the way that they've been doing it for centuries and probably millennia. That's to use the natural wood that grows around your home. There is no environmental impact in terms of there's no transport, there's no processing. Any wood that you any wood that you cut will grow back. You're not harming the trees. So of the three options, diesel fired, which is very effective. Central heating is very effective, but very expensive. Does your whole house. Air source heat pumps, reverse cycle aircon. Again, effective, and you can just do one room at a time, so you don't have to heat the whole house. But expensive. Wood burning appliances, free, but doesn't heat the whole house. So those are your options if you want to heat over the winter in Corfu.